Back to another episode of That Pop Culture Pod. Joining me is my co-host and Elden Ring Night Reign's biggest fan, Juan. How are you doing today?
I'm not on my best game today, if I'm being honest with you, brother. I'm not on my top, but I'm here. My cat's destroying my computer, walking all over it with her fat ass. Yeah, I'm okay. This new game came out. It's not particularly that good, but it's been keeping me occupied. How are you? I got to see you this weekend.
I know. We'll actually have a picture to post for the podcast of you and I and Ryan and our good buddy Jimmy that was hosting. It cannot be overestimated how much fun it is to just hang out with a couple friends outside and have some beers and chit chat.
Some beers.
A couple, 100 beers.
It was pretty wicked. I remember I told Jess, because I've been trying to lose weight for the wedding, so I've not been drinking too much. And I think she had a really rough week last week, and I did too. So one day she told me to get tequila on the way home for margaritas. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do that because I really want to have some margaritas. Well, we had a little bit of fun a few days in a row, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to drink this weekend. I'll just get a seltzer, have a beer with my friends, and then we'll just hang out, and then, we'll leave eventually. I pounded 2 seltzers before you got there, then you pulled up the Modelo, and that's a 10-year tale that's been told a million times. It just goes downhill from there.
You mean uphill?
I mean, all I'm saying is that I did not have to drive home.
I did not either. For the best for everyone else on the road. I would have had a great. I'm just kidding.
Give me my keys. Somebody give me my keys.
Somebody get this man behind the wheel of a car. No, it was a lot of fun for sure. We'll be running it back soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I know he invited us over for 4th of July, but that's usually a hectic time for everybody, so it's really hard to say yay or nay right now, but I would really definitely like to do that. He just lives so far away.
I will be there, because he lives pretty close to me. It's only like 40 minutes away.
Just kidding, I'm already outside ready to drink. I got Modelo's ready, let's do it.
Dude, I got them in the fridge right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have a margarita when I get off, dude. I had a bad day at work. It's been a bad few weeks. I don't want to say anything bad about my company, just, because they pay my bills. But we're not particularly busy, but for some reason, I'm busier now than I have been in the last 2 years. From the minute I walk in to the minute I leave, which recently has been pretty late, not been too great, dude. It's been really annoying, actually.
We're coming up to my busy time at work, too, and it's been getting more and more like that as well.
Like summertime?
Yeah. We have the big summer reading events happen at the libraries all around the country, actually. But we have our summer reading program that starts Saturday, so people have been ramping up, and more people have been getting library cards, and once there's going to be like events like 3 or 4 times a week, which is awesome. I'm not upset about it, but it does make it very busy.
Well, I feel like what I've learned over my years in the trades, the slower, like the less things you have to do in a day, the longer they drag on. To be honest, I don't really mind when it's busy.
Yeah, I want it to be a little bit busy, but not hectic. I don't want it to feel like I'm running around like crazy and like always behind or whatever, but I don't mind. It's busy enough that the day goes by for sure.
Yeah, and Yeah, Jess is like the last few weeks because it's the end of the school year. Hers has just been hectic, but yeah, I would say mine aren't hectic as much as just like really busy. Like I've been going to Ohio a lot, and that's just
Yeah, that will drain a man.
yeah, I know Ohio specifically. Like that's the problem here.
I was gonna say, a Michigander steps foot in Ohio, loses 40% of his power immediately.
Yeah, some brain cells too every time I go. Traffic, redoing all the roads. 696 is hell. 75 is hell. They've just dude. It just makes it so hard. Like today, I had to go to. I'll circle back to how much I hate Ohio in a little bit, guys. Um, but like today, I had to go to Fenton, so that's like not even all the way to Flint. And I used to have to go to Flint a lot, so it's like okay, I'm used to that. That drive's not too bad. And then it was like, hey, I put everything in my phone. Even if I've been there a million times, I tend to put it in my phone just to get an idea of what traffic looks like on a day-to-day basis. For people who have to commute, I mean, I'm sure you guys understand. Sometimes you just want to put it in your phone so if there's an accident, just get off. It'll probably make your day better. So I've never been to this factory before. And I was like, okay, I'll just put it. I know where Fenton is, but I'll just put it in now so I don't got to worry about it. And it was like an hour and like 5 minutes. And I'm like, it should not take that long. It only takes like 30 minutes to get to Flint from where I work, but whatever. So I get there and it was miserable. Also, the Google map and the Apple map puts you out on a road with no docks, and then it takes you into roads that you can't take semis. So I had to back up and turn my truck around basically in neighborhoods in the middle of nowhere when there's no truck signs everywhere, just praying that a cop does not come. It was miserable, dude. I was so mad. And also, my truck got clean because it rained so much yesterday and today. And now it's absolutely disgusting from the dirt roads I had to fucking drive around in. But then,
Yeah.
so I finally get over there. I do whatever I'm going to do. And then I was like, okay, well, now I got to go to this place on the far east side of Detroit. Probably take I was thinking maybe 50 minutes. 75 is closed going south. You can only basically go south if you get onto 75 in Flint or in Clarkston. So I had to take back roads from basically the south side of Grand Blanc and Fenton all the way through fucking all those cities, all the way through Waterford, all the way through Clarkston. So a 50-minute drive turned into an hour and 45-minute drive. And I had to leave work an hour, like from when I got to the place I had to go. I left fucking an hour late today, which I know an hour late doesn't seem bad to a lot of people, but when you work regular 10 and a half, 11-hour shifts, working a 12-hour day is not fun. Like, it's just like you're already 2-3 hours past when you want to be there.
And then you feel like you're behind the entire day afterwards, too.
Dude, it was bad. My boss actually doesn't particularly bust my balls at all. Like, we have a really good relationship at work. I actually really like my boss. Pretty cool guy. For being a boss. You guys know what I mean. He texted me and he was like, "Hey man, what did you grab from Powder Coat, one of the places that we go to in Mount Clemens?" And I was an hour and 15 minutes before I got there. I was like, I don't know, dude. I'll have to let you know. So basically, when I should have been clocking out, because like I said, we're slow, so they, are a little bit tight on hours. As I was supposed to be clocking out, I was texting them, "Hey man, just got here. This is what we have that I'm gonna be bringing back." Oh my god, it was so annoying. I was the last one at the factory. I had to close it up. I hate closing up the factory.
Yeah, I do not. I'm openings is way better than closing, pretty much always.
Well, my buddy at work made it easier for me, but it's just like annoying when I get back and it's like I gotta go back through. I gotta make sure every door in a factory is closed, make sure all the power's off, make sure I set the alarm right. And then I only have a key for one specific door. And then my car was on the far side of the factory, so I went and grabbed that because you know how capitalism is. I mean, you can only really clock out at certain times, or you won't get paid for all of the time between the clock out periods. So I had to go grab my car, and then I brought it up, and it was just like, and the lady who does the what is it called, like the payroll, she was like, "Hey, are you still here? Because you didn't clock out or anything." And I'm like, "Well, we don't always get to leave when we want to, do we?" And then she's probably at home texting me, wondering what the hell's going on. I was just like, not having a good day, bro. Just like you said, just like always behind. And that's the thing that frustrates me. I don't care about a busy day, but I hate when you just always feel like you're behind. Like you just don't feel like anything you do like helps you get back to where you know you're supposed to be. I hate that stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm kind of routine oriented when it comes to work, so it's sometimes tough when it's something like lingering over your head like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we specifically need one specific part. You know what, Hunter? I want to get your opinion on this because it makes zero sense. And me and a few of my coworkers have tried to figure it out. How is it that we're so slow that we lay people off, yet all of these parts are always needing to immediately get made, get cleaned, get painted, and immediately need to go out as soon as possible? Like, wouldn't you, as somebody who's an intelligent, because you're probably one of the most intelligent people I know, wouldn't you think that if you run a business, you make sure you have what you need probably before the deadline and not lay off all of your workers that help you get that deadline met? Don't you think that that maybe makes a little bit of sense?
I think it's actually more awesome to overwork all of your employees and make them not want to do their job and hate their lives for a couple extra salaries worth of money.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Remember, he is through and through American. He
I
bleeds
am
red, white, and blue.
I am the Borgy Wargy. No,
I don't know. It just like blows my
I
mind.
will
I don't get
never
it.
I'll never understand it cuz it's like a lot of the time the difference between one and two people extra at a job is just so massive for the quality of life for everyone. Just like
Yeah.
having one or two more people to take care of tasks or one or two more people to help catch up is just like it's such a huge difference. And in the grand scheme of things, in like a larger company, like one or two salaries is nothing.
Well, we have to be missing something, dude, because I mean, we have the workers, but they keep laying them off. So they'll lay them off for a week or 2 weeks at a time, and then we get super behind, and then they'll bring them back, and then we're still super behind because we laid them off. So it's like I don't know if there's like an equation or just something that I didn't learn that's fundamental to running a company. But I just feel like you should probably keep your workers if you're always behind. You know what I mean?
You'd think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I don't understand it, dude. It's just so annoying. Because like there's nothing, especially like for those who, I mean, obviously you guys know the same people have been listening, or the same people have been listening the whole time. I don't make the parts. I don't pack them. I'm not quality control. All I do is drive from point A to point B while I bitch about it and hit my vape. So why am I always getting texts wondering where certain things are? You know what I mean? Like that'd be like if you, I mean, I've never worked at a library, but it'd be like if somebody was mad at you because the library didn't purchase a brand new book when it came out. It's like I don't do that. Like that's not your job. So why are they bugging you about it?
Sometimes I feel like people are just so angry and not happy with their own situations that they just kind of want to take it out on literally everyone in their lives.
Yeah, probably. That's probably what it is. Well, I don't even know if they're like taking it out or like grumpy with me or anything, but it's just like maybe they're just super stressed, so they're trying to talk to everybody in the line to figure out when it's gonna be where. But it's like, dude, you can't. You like, I'm the worst person to ask. I will show up to a place, and if it's not sitting right there, I'm not grabbing it. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's got nothing to do with me. Anyways, we've been talking about it forever. But yeah, dude, let's circle back to what we're talking about. I did have a lot of fun, and like Hunter was saying, we finally got a picture together. We've been literally trying to do this for like the last 7 times we hung out. I'm like, hey, dude, let's make sure we take a picture for the podcast. Well, we've been doing the podcast since January, and we've been talking about taking a picture together, and we have not done it one time.
Did one picture in 6 months. That's a pretty good ratio for dudes hanging out.
That's true. And me and Hunter have talked about this a lot off mic, but I'm just one of those people, like, I have to use my phone for work, between maps, talking to my boss, doing whatever. When I get home, I try not to be on my phone too much. And when I'm hanging out with my friends, especially, like, it doesn't even come to mind. Like, I might pull my phone out if me and Hunter are talking about something, and then he was like, oh, well, when does that one thing come out? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, let me check. Or we're talking about who made a game, and he was like, oh, what's that one guy's name? Like, I might pull my phone up or something simple like that. But, like, we were really good about taking pictures for a long time, but I think maybe because we hung out every single day, it was, like, a little bit more normal to have a little bit of time where we weren't always just talking the whole time.
I'm trying to catch up on everything.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what our life is now. And it's like I can't imagine because I don't really like my phone. I can literally can't imagine doing anything that I don't like when I'm hanging out with somebody who's literally like one of my favorite people in the world. So it just like blows my mind. Like sometimes when we're eating out, Jess will like look at her phone for just a few seconds because I typically don't get on my phone when we're hanging out. And then I'll just like look around like I'm the abused boyfriend. Like, can you believe she's on her phone when she's hanging out with me? Even though that might be the only 5 seconds she does it the whole time we're out.
I get you. I I'm a little bit worse about my phone. But it depends on because if I'm doing something fun, I don't even think about it. But sometimes if I'm just like generally rotting in the house or like watching a show or something, I'll mess around on my phone or whatever. But I I have definitely gotten a lot more distant from it. I think my screen time is down like 60 or 70% in the last year. So that's pretty good, I'd say. I'm trying to be more in the moment just in general and try and I feel like a lot even though like watching stuff on your phone can be fun and TikTok can be make you laugh and stuff like that. Sometimes I just feel like it's such a drain on my energy and my time. So,
Yeah, and like I feel like there's a lot of times where it makes a lot of sense to be on your phone. Like I said, like if I'm waiting to get loaded, or if I'm at the dentist, or if I don't even know, like if I'm waiting in a line at the store, maybe I'll pull my phone, I'll watch some TikToks or whatever. But there's so much more stuff to do at home. Like if I'm watching, like dude, if I'm watching, especially anime, because I watch most of it in Japanese. Like if I'm
mhm.
watching anime, obviously I'm not pulling my phone out or I'm missing something. If I'm watching Star Wars, I'd rather be talking to Jess about what we're watching or just watch. Like I don't know, or let's be honest, playing video games. I would rather play a video game than I'd ever sit on my goddamn phone because I can't do that when I'm not at home. But I can sit on my phone when I'm not at home.
Yeah.
Oh, especially when I'm in the gym. Like if I'm in the sauna, oh dude, what am I gonna do? Sit there and look at all those? Oh well, never mind. Hold up, we got an idea here. Never mind. So what else have you been doing, brother?
I've been working and getting ready for all this library madness that's coming up. I've been reading a lot of manga. I'm waiting for a bunch more to come in the through the interlibrary loan system at work. The next 14 Tokyo Ghoul books for the RE series.
Hell yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm reading. Still chugging through a book I got a little while ago. I think I did mention on here called Green Teeth. That's been pretty good, but I've been kind of slow reading it because I've been reading other stuff too. I've been bouncing between a lot of stuff. It's a fantasy novel about a Jenny Greenteeth, which is like almost kind of like a swamp person, but like a lake monster.
Okay.
Um, and she like rescues a witch who's getting persecuted or whatever, and then like befriends the witch even though she doesn't really like humans, and the human didn't really like her that much at first or whatever, but they're kind of allies of convenience or whatever. And it's been pretty good so far. I'm gonna try to finish it this weekend, so I'll have more to say about it. I've also been trying to catch up on some Disney Plus stuff that I haven't seen yet.
Like what?
I will refrain from mentioning for my dear friend Jeff's sake what I've been watching
Like
on.
what, please? I need someone to bring it up so I can talk about it, please.
And so, how have you been liking Night Rain? Is the real question. The elephant in the room.
God damn it. All right, real quick since you were talking about reading, I'm almost done with Stormlight Archive finally. I'm almost completely done with it. I think I'm in the last few chapters of the book. Um I'm actually pretty bummed out with the way that it's ending so far. I'm not really patient, so I know a little bit about some of the characters, how they end. I don't really like to wait for certain stuff. So I've read a little bit about that, but it's a little annoying, dude. They spent all this time, it's basically 550 chapter books about this whole struggle that they've been fighting for and working towards, and in the last 6 chapters, everything's just crumbled. Basically, everything they've been working for has just completely went the other direction of what they wanted. The bad guys kind of winning everything. And I know there's still a few more chapters for that to get resolved, but The whole kind of premise of the book is that like you make contracts and you have to stick to the contracts no matter what. Like that is the part. Like that's how the magic system works on in this universe. So like you make an oath, you make a contract, you set up conditions you both agree to, and you have to abide by them. So whether the good guy wins or the bad guy wins doesn't really particularly matter because the fact of the matter is all the good guys basically got betrayed by all of their friends and allies, and whoever wins, kind of like the end of the book is like let's look at it from like a continent standpoint. 'Cause just in case you ever read it, I don't want to ruin anything for you. If you look at it as a continent and how countries and states are broken up, basically whoever wins, like the country lines are going to be set in stone. So all of the allies that have betrayed like the main characters, no matter what, they've already betrayed them. They're now traitors, and that they're always going to be on the other guy's side, no matter how you look at it. And that's kind of a big bummer, dude. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time, a lot of like emotion you put into like people fighting for their homes and the good guys being there for these people when they need them most, and then just at the very end for them to all stab him in the back and then go with the bad guy. Because, like I said, whether he wins or he loses, at which I don't know, no matter what, they're going to be on the bad side's lines. Like the country lines are going to be drew around how these people betrayed everybody, and it's kind of defeating if I'm being honest with you, dude. Like it's like why the hell did we spend so much time caring about these characters if they were just gonna fold at the climax? It's kind of a bummer, you know what I mean?
I feel like it kind of made you, it made you feel a certain type of way that they spent so much time building them up and then they still were not seeing not seeing it through to the end.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the main characters, they'll get their ending, but everybody else kind of will have to live with the choices that they are making right now at like the penultimate hour. Kind of,
That
yeah,
was
like I said, dude, it's just kind of really defeating. I'm pretty bummed out about it. And I kind of wanted to put the book down because I was just so depressed of watching one person, one side character you like after another just kind of betraying the main character. It's just like a big bummer, dude.
yeah. I'm a fan of big bummer books though.
That's
I
fair.
I feel like, man, this is gonna sound a little bit grim, but I feel like there's not actually that many like complete happy endings in real life. Like a lot of things
True.
are the happy moments are kind of in between everything else going on. And like the happy moments they are worth it. It's worth all the struggle and the fight, but the most people go through pretty hard times, and I think that it's there's some solace kind of in seeing a character overcome a struggle and overcome something because it makes you feel like you too can overcome the things that you're going through and that better times will come. But I think for most people struggle, more than anything else. So I feel like those type of books tend to be pretty realistic, and I think in a lot of those high conflict situations people do fold and they do buckle and they do kind of like miss out on upholding their own morals for convenience or because of maybe something discomfort.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. And the thing that if I could ever convince you to read these books, I think you'll realize is it is the most unrealistic fantasy style setting that has probably the most realistic outcomes. I guess is a good way to describe it. Like kind of like Attack on Titan, where not everything's gonna be rosy. Like, yeah, most of the main characters don't end up getting murdered in situations they should. But it's because it's fantasy and they have kind of like superpowers. It's kind of how it works, like how Gandalf went to the volcano and he came back because, I mean, it's a fantasy book. But, like, I mean, countries fall in this thing and, like, millions of people have died in the war so far. And even main characters have passed away doing things where you're like, oh, sweet, they get their redemption arc. This is going to be, oh, they're dead. Okay. Like, like you said, it's just a little bit more like the scenarios are obviously very fictional, but the outcomes tend to be more realistic to what you think life would be like. But also, I mean, I'm reading this book because I don't want to experience real life. And then just to know that most people will betray you if it's a little bit more beneficial for them to do it, like that's such a bummer.
Yeah. it it
Such a
it
bummer.
it's a bummer when it happens too. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, trust me, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But there
Um,
it kind of I feel like at the same time though, you can look at that through the lens of like it makes the people who stand by you even in those times shine even brighter. The people a lot of people will kind of run out when things are tough, but like the people who really stay with you are lifelong friends. They are rare, but that's what makes them more special.
yeah, I agree with you. The bad part about this book is that there really isn't anybody sticking with them. So it's just like it's so booty cheeks.
It's just you
And I
and
think that
him.
the thing that I hate the most about it is like like I feel like with a lot of stories, not even just books in particular, but movies, TV shows, stories, you know who the bad guy is because that's the point of the conflict. That's what's getting described to you. And in real life, a lot of people don't always particularly know who realistically is really the bad guy and the good guy. You might have a lot of loyalty to your country, but at the end, you figure out, oh, wait, we were the bad guys the whole time. America. So in this book, like, you know who the bad guy is, like 100%. He doesn't hide it. His followers don't hide it. The heroes don't hide it. Literally nobody is hiding who the bad guy is. But like you said, this is the realistic part of it is like, well, if they win, they might not have as good as deal as if they sign with the bad guy and then they get the good deal from him. Like it's still not going to be a good deal because you're following one of the worst people in the universe, but it's going to be a better deal than if you win and then you kind of have nothing left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
Like, do you want your whole country to be obliterated and most of your people to die just so you could say you could win? A lot of people don't want to do that.
I think even when you have direct good and bad guys like you do in a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, I think a lot of the times like what is good depends on what the character wants. Like
Yeah,
if you just want a place to live and good food and you want whatever you want power or influence, like maybe their good is evil. It depends
yeah,
on because obviously we I understand and I think most people do that like it's pretty easy to say like that's a good action or that's a bad action or whatever, but when it comes down to it, like what people are willing to do to get what they want is very dependent on how bad they want what they want.
yeah. I agree with you 100%. And that's kind of like what one of my favorite characters is, like this hard-headed old queen. So she's like super hardcore, I would say pretty intelligent overall, which not a lot of kings and queens are, but she's pretty intelligent, really hard-headed, really really strong in her conviction. And basically her betrayal just came down to like their entire way of life would basically disappear. They're traders, they're shipmasters and stuff like that. Like their whole culture is spent around like mercantilism. And basically if they win the war, they'll no longer be able to be shipfaring folk because the bad guy holds every single port in the entire world. So they no longer be able to do the one thing they love. And she's like, well, I won't be able to ever do, my entire culture won't be able to do what they've spent 4,000 years cultivating if they side with the good guys and then they win. But if they side with the bad guys, yet like I said, the written contracts are part of the magic system. So they writ out a contract that she thought was favorable for her, and then she still gets to basically have like this ship-faring mercantile society that they all love and they revere. And it's like, well, okay, well, fuck everybody who's helped you. Also, she basically signed on with the guy who literally obliterated her city 1 year before, and the city is just now starting to get built back up. And the whole point is like, he already destroyed your city once. Why won't he do it again? And he was like, I'll put it in the contract, and then I can't. And she's like, all right, I'll sign. It's like, well, what the
Great
fuck?
deal.
Fuck us then, huh? Oh my god, dude, it's so annoying. But I do get what you mean. Like a lot of it is like she knows she could be doing something bad, but I mean, when it's beneficial for all of her people, it's like well, a lot of people are going to do that. They're going to fold.
Yeah, kind of a sad reality, but a lot of when if you're if especially in situations where like if you're hungry or you don't have shelter, or the people you care about are in danger or threatened, you are usually willing to do things that will compromise your morals at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, compromising morals is a pretty good lead into Elden Ring Night Reign. So let's talk about that.
Oh shit.
Um, Actually, so since we're gonna talk about video games kind of shift, I wanted to cover something last week. It's really quick. I want to take a little break from Oblivion, not because I was sick of it or I was bored of it or anything, but I just didn't really want it to end yet. So I loved the game so much. I was having so much fun. I wasn't ready for it to just be something that I had to uninstall because I played it all the way through. So I was kind of feeling switching up my gaming. Like I was playing so much Battlefront 2, and I was like, okay, well, here's my multiplayer game I could kind of binge for a little while. Like, what is something I can do other than that? And I went through my games of what I've been wanting to play, and I actually got a Need for Speed pack. It was like a bunch of Need for Speed games when I was still in college. So this is pre-COVID. I think I got it, I don't know, for like $10, I got 3 video games, and I played the first 2. But I never played the third one. So I started playing this racing game, and I was like, it's okay, it's whatever. And I was playing it, and then I started having a lot of fun. And then I remember how much I loved racing games. So I'm also really good at them. It's one of the only games that I'm actually really good at is racing, like in GTA and Halo and all that stuff. Like I'm just really good at driving. It's like one of my favorite, like one of my most fun things to do. So I wanted to ask you real quick, like, is there any sort of style of game that you rarely play, but every time you do, you remember how much you love it?
Honestly, one of mine is like old school flash games, like games like tower defense kind of games, and like little dinky RPGs, and like top down kind of like shooter games and stuff like that. Just like those kind of like little either arena type games or those little simple strategy games are ones that I find myself coming back to, and I'm always just like, wow, this is way more fun than I always remember it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I feel like that's how I am with racing games. Is I don't play them very often because a lot of them just aren't particularly that good. They're not. This isn't a nostalgia thing because a lot of people think everything from their childhood's better. So this isn't like a nostalgia thing. A lot of people have kind of coincided with what I'm saying. Forza Horizon tends to be like the only exception. Most racing games now are just kind of like cash grab, like knockoffs of what they used to be. So like when we were younger, racing games were just better. They had more cars, more customization, better stories. I know it's a racing game and you don't think they have stories or you don't particularly think it's an important aspect, but racing games when we were kids, I mean, they still just hold up so well. Like I was telling you, I was playing Midnight Club 3 recently and I was binging the hell out of it. Like that era of racing games was just so good. The first Forza, Gran Turismo on the PS2, like these are games that are just incredible and they held up. And if you still wanted to play them now, you still could because they're so good. Like it's hard to find good racing games, so that's why I don't do it as often anymore. But I always forget how good I am at that aspect. Like when GTA 5 came out and they finally came out with the online, I particularly didn't care for the online, but I did a lot of the racing. And there was a time when I had held like the world record on like 5 or 6 different racing tracks because I was so good at it at that time. Like I enjoy that. I think it's something that's really fun. I'm not playing the game anymore. I beat it, and then Battlefront 2 just absolved my life. I mean, like that's all I was doing. And then leading into where I wanted to go is Elden Ring Night Reign came out. So I've been playing a lot of that too. Have you played any of it? Do you have any impressions of it?
I've just watched people playing it because I can't play it on my Xbox and I cannot play it on my PC because the requirements are too high, just above what I have basically to run it.
So annoying.
Yep. So I have not played it. I've watched people play it mostly. Um, but no, I have not gotten to play it myself yet, unfortunately, because I was looking forward to that one.
Okay, so probably good you didn't play it when it came out. I think it's a game that'll get better as they patch it. Um, I don't particularly like it. I played the beta, so I had an idea of what it was. I did a bunch of runs in the beta, but That was a while ago, so I haven't really, thought about it too much. I just knew I was excited for it. And it's cheap. I mean, it was a $30 or $40 game, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grab it. So I went to a GameStop actually. That was actually one of the things I want to talk about. There's a GameStop right next to my work, so I went to go get one after work on Friday, and the line was wrapped all the way around the strip mall it was in. So I went back an hour later, and it was still wrapped around the strip mall. So I called every GameStop in the area, and they were sold out everywhere. I had to drive all the way to Warren. I think it was 9 Mile and Hoover. It was literally I had to go so far away to grab one, but I finally got a copy. I get home. I don't like it, to be honest with you, dude. I I think the fact that there's no in-game chat probably is a lot of my frustration with it. If you're not in a Xbox party with your friends, I mean, you just have no idea what the hell they're doing. They're not immediately with you. You're just gonna get creamed. It's a game that you play on single player. It's too hard because it's a game you're supposed to play multiplayer because there's none of the enemies are particularly too crazy, but you tend to get so many enemies, because it's supposed to be like three people fighting a boss and a bunch of little mini enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So when you play it on single player, it's too hard because there's too many enemies and you get mobbed too much. You play it on multiplayer, if you have even one weak link, it's almost impossible to beat the main boss, the boss on the third day. So that's a lot of what me and Ethan have been running into. I've done a lot of runs with Ethan. He's done a lot up by himself. I've done a lot by myself. It really comes down to you need to have three people on the same page or it's just going to be an unwinnable run. I do think the story aspect of it is really cool. There's like a journal system where like you kind of unlock journal pages and then you can read, and those are basically your mini missions. So, go up to your journal and be like relive this memory. And then you'll get to talk, you'll get some dialogue from a few people in the mat, like on the round table hold. And then you typically have an objective to complete to finish that memory. And then you get cool stuff from it. And do you know anything about the relics? Did you watch enough to understand like what that's about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get like cool relics that are specific to your characters and stuff like that. So to make your start, your first day a little easier, so you're not just starting from level 1 with nothing boosting you. And I've just been learning it and doing that, and I think balances will make the game a lot better. I don't think there's enough enemies. I mean, I don't think there's enough major bosses, and I don't think there's enough playable characters. I know that's gonna come with DLC, but sometimes I feel like maybe not everything needs to be paid. I mean, I paid you for the game. Maybe you could give us a little bit extra, but whatever. That's just me. But I don't know. I just don't find myself having that much fun when I'm playing. I think I just have fun by playing with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, where a game's not particularly fun, but the aspect that you're doing it with your friends is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. I understand your frustration with you need a whole team to be on the same page because at the end of the day, it's a Souls-like game. Like it's a Dark Souls game. If you have a weak link, you're gonna feel it. Like it's
Yep.
if somebody is not parrying or dodging, they're just gonna die, and then you're in a 2v situation when you needed a third. There's Speaking of the patches though, that is one of the things they're supposed to be fixing is the devs have already responded and said like we understand not like how hard it is for people to get three people together for these runs or whatever. So I think they're supposed to be adding or resolving that issue with like a two-player mode that scales that way.
Yep. Thank God.
So that would be cool. And it's I kind of am thinking about it the same way as when the last DLC for Elden Ring came out, and when Elden Ring first dropped, like a lot of the bosses were scaled so high, and I think they'll probably reel things back a little bit, like they almost always do, um, and make it a little bit more attainable for average people to be playing, and for the people that are your third and your randoms. But the no in-game chat is kind of crazy for a game that's
That's completely multiplayer based.
yeah, is pretty crazy for sure. That one I don't. I guess the only thing I understand about it is that they just didn't want to deal with what comes with moderating those chats and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I've had some teammates that I've literally sometimes me and Ethan like cuz the first few days you could not be too excuse me. you could not be two players looking for a third. You couldn't have two people already in a party looking for a third one to play with you in matchmaking. And they finally fixed that. So like if me and you wanted to hop in, we could do that, and then they would give us a third person now. But originally they weren't, so we would just talk in the game chat until our third friend got on, and then, like we would just play our own games. And I was telling him, I was like, well, thank God that I can't tell these people how bad they are. Like honestly, because like I'm not special by any means, but like I can hold my own. Like I'm a good support person. Like I'm not always the best at doing the most amount of damage, but I'm also really good at making sure my teammates get back up, making sure I get those hits in when they need a little bit of reprieve. Trying to do as much damage as I can without getting knocked down. Like I tend to go down the least, I think, in a group that I play with, and I tend to be the last to go down. So like I don't know if that's particularly good or bad because, like I said, I could always be doing more damage. That is one thing I'll say about myself. I could always be doing more damage, but also I think you always need a teammate that's looking out for everybody on the team because then the people who are really good at doing a lot of damage always have somebody backing them up.
What class have you been playing the most?
Oh, Duchess, the girl with the daggers.
Okay. I was gonna say one thing that I've noticed from watching people play the game, is the having a good guardian seems like it's a pretty make or break for a lot of teams.
Like, do you mean the eagle itself or just somebody who plays that role?
I mean somebody who plays like the guardian role.
Oh yeah.
I mean
okay.
I ultimately do mean like the eagle, like just um but like it seems like that person absorbing a lot of the damage and the aggro is like very very important. Which that it kind of sucks that like I feel like it seems kind of like there's already almost kind of a hierarchy of like who you can play with who kind of thing. But it does seem like the Guardian is a pretty big thing for most team compositions, having someone who knows what they're doing with the Guardian.
I agree with you, and I think a problem that me and Ethan run into that we run into a lot is Ethan specifically is really good at doing high damage. Like that's what he's really good at doing that. He's good at manipulating. Like he'll watch videos and he'll read about these characters so he can do the most amount of damage with the character he's good at playing. But a lot of those characters who do high damage, the way that they balance them out is either they don't move fast or they take hardcore damage, as in like lightly armored.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays somebody who she moves fast enough. Like he'll typically play like the mage types, the blood mage or the regular mage.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes a one or two hits and she's just down. Like that's just how it is. I mean, she's a high damage character who moves quick. Obviously, you have to have that counterbalance. And then I play a character, like I said, Duchess is my favorite character because one, you get a good dagger, or you get a few good drops that boost your stats. And this character can take a few good hits. She moves endlessly. You can move really quick. You can go invisible. But the thing that I like the most, Hunter, is her special power allows that, like, if you do a bunch of damage to the enemy, you use her special power, and then you make, like, a clone of the boss, and then all of the damage that was just dealt gets redealt to it. So, like, say you use a fire magic that against an enemy that's really weak to fire, and you take a fourth of their health away. If I press my superpower, another fourth immediately gets taken away without me or you doing anything.
That's pretty nuts.
So it's a really, really, really good superpower to have when you're with people who do good damage. So like if Ethan can like smack the hell out of him and get a lot of good damage out of him, I keep going in, doing hits with my dagger as much as I can, and then I use my power to get that free damage taken away. Like, have you seen anybody use this power so you can like? It's really hard to describe what it does.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay, yeah. So, me and him are able to melt enemy bars, but then consistently we get stuck with people who don't want to be a tank. They don't want to take any aggro, or they just try to play the same character that me or him play, but then they don't play it in a way where they don't, they just repeatedly get downed. And it's like it's just so hard to be with, to not have that third person supporting two people because you have a high damage character, a character that keeps everybody alive and does, a pretty good amount of damage. You need somebody that's able to that can take hits, and nobody ever wants to do it. Granted, I will say the biggest tank character in the game moves so freaking slow. You're not able to do anything to any major bosses because Dark Souls, you've played all the games. All of the major enemies are basically Dex characters. They do a lot, they move around a lot, and they do a lot of damage. The two best tanks, they move too slow, and that's got to be rebalanced. And I think that will change over time. But there's really only like 3 good characters, and then the rest of them are worthless. And then if you have other people picking these characters, they just don't do anything. And it doesn't mean that they're not particularly good, because as long as you're good, you can do anything with a character. But even a bad character, you have to be insanely good at to make any use out of them.
Well, one thing about this game is I think that unlike every other Souls game, this is a Souls game second to being a team game. And most people who play a lot of Souls games in general don't play a lot of co-op. They tend to be solo players. And having 3 people who are trying to play as though they're playing a solo player game is going to be a lot worse, even if they're better than 3 people who can play really cohesively and figure out like how to juggle aggro, because this, to be honest, the gameplay is a lot more to me. It looks to me a lot more like how you would manage like a MMO boss. Like you're trying to juggle the aggro, you're trying to pass buffs off to each other, you're trying to it's like doing a Warcraft or like a RuneScape high-end raid.
Absolutely. I agree. That's such a good way to describe
it's a lot less of like, can I dodge and parry everything? And it's a lot more of like, how can I cover my teammates' weaknesses while still pressing our advantage the whole time?
Yep.
And like, so if you have team comps like you're talking about that are not good, you're really gonna feel it. And like, this is something I'm very used to because I play a ton of Apex, and like it's another team-based game where you're relying on your teammates, and it's like I have this frustration all the time of just like, if 2 people pick like basically a damage carry, and then the third person also picks a damage carry, it's just, yeah, you guys can knock and kill a team super fast, but now if one person makes a mistake, there's no forgiveness. There's no support character that can pick you up. There's no healer. So if everyone's playing a damage character and everyone's not playing perfectly, one mistake is going to cost you the game. Whereas if you're playing with a balanced team composition and you have someone who's like a guardian or a healer or whatever, and somebody makes a mistake, you can actually cover for it. Like, it's built into how your team is going to play together.
Exactly.
And it's just like, it's very weird because it's not like other Souls games in that way, where like in other Souls games, there's a way to cover all your own weaknesses, or you can overcome your weaknesses by just getting good, and I don't think that's true in this game as much.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, also when these games come out, they tend to just be scaled harder than what most people can play as, so it's just tends to be a lot harder overall in the beginning. And I think as characters get balanced better, and then enemies get balanced better, the game will start to flourish in a way that I think I might be able to enjoy a little more. I just don't think it's a game for me. I'll play it because I bought it and I can't return it, and it's something I can play with my friends. And at the end of the day, it is still Elden Ring, so it's an Elden Ring game. I like the universe, I like the characters, but I think a lot of that stuff will definitely get fixed as everything's balanced more. But I mean, I agree with you, dude. Like, me and Ethan play with a buddy of ours who's not well versed in Souls games, so he's basically learning how to play a game that me and Ethan are learning. And it's like, when we get downed, we're basically just screwed. Like, he tries to save us, but it's just not possible. He does not have that skill set yet. And that's how it is with like a lot of people. It's like it tends to be, to me, and I think when you start playing, you'll understand if things are still a little unbalanced. Like you said, it almost is like I focus less on killing bosses as I do as keeping my teammates alive, and I feel like that is so counteractive to what the point of this game is supposed to be, where you're all supposed to just be focused on taking down bosses and making sure you don't get downed. Instead, I feel like my entire time is just keeping my teammates alive, and so much less time on taking down bosses, and such a unreal, like so different than what I thought the game was going to be, which is why I think I just like it so much. Because, like you said, I mean, you just if somebody isn't well versed or somebody isn't really good at their character or the character's not particularly well balanced, you have to make up for those discrepancies. And then it's like the boss isn't going to care. It just wants to kill you. That's it. Like there's no reprieve from it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, welcome to the support grind. I play a lot,
Yeah,
I play a
dude.
lot of support characters and tank characters in games. I do like to play damage carries. I play a little bit of everything, but man, it is a different type of frustration trying to be the person holding a team together. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
not saying
agree.
that to dog on the people you're playing with at all. I'm sure that they're
No,
doing
yeah.
well or whatever, but just in general, playing those type of games and trying to hold your team together, even if other people are as well, can be very frustrating and definitely take you out of it sometimes. Like you can only do so much if you're trying to fix everything compared to like progress the gameplay.
Yeah, it's just so hard, dude. It's just so hard.
But I did just recently look, and the only thing I only need to upgrade one thing on my PC to play the game, so maybe I will do that this summer by the time a couple more updates come out. And maybe we could even do one of our first playing a game podcast or video recordings for Night Rain and learning the game.
I would love that.
That would be pretty
I would love
awesome.
that. Yeah, that would be really fun. I don't know if it's crossplay, which is another one of my very, very, very big complaints with it. But if it is not crossplay, we could also just both stream runs that we do together. I mean, at the same time, like, and then you can almost get two different experiences and see, like, anybody who'd want to watch could also just see like what it's like playing two different types of characters and two different types of maps and the different things that people can run into. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. I think people would really like that.
Hold on a second. I think might have resolved our issue here. Hold on.
What's that?
Can I play Night Rain on Xbox One?
Yeah.
So we could play together. And it looks like
Yeah, you'd
it's
have
not
to.
cross-platform, but it is cross-generation, it says.
Oh, I thought you already bought it on your PC.
No, 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 no. I checked to see if I could run it with all I have an application that tells me if I can run it
Oh,
or not. So I actually could probably buy this next week on my Xbox to play with you.
that would be awesome because, like I said, we need a third, and then by that time, I think duos should be out soon, and then we could just run duos.
Yeah, I did not know that. Because I knew I've literally played Elden Ring on my Xbox One, but I assume because it's like a next gen game or whatever, I wouldn't be able to. But it does make sense that it's on the same engine.
Well, the game also looks like Dookie. It looks significantly less good than Elden Ring, so I mean, I think they probably did that so more people can play together.
Yeah, I may be investing in this next week, and we may have more to talk about in a week or two. But we have been struggling a bit with crossplay lately because we've both been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 with the resurgence of that game, and we have not been able to play together. I've been playing with Ryan a bunch, and we've been having a lot of fun, but it's not the same without you. Sucks.
Yep, I'm literally gonna put it on while I'm editing this.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I I
Yeah,
do take for
yeah, sounds
granted
cool.
that crossplay, like once kind of that era came about and like a lot more games with crossplay, I like don't even think about it. I didn't even check on Star Wars Battlefront before Ryan and I got it. And then he told me it's not crossplay and I
Yeah,
was like I didn't even think about that. I was like, but that is from 2017, I think it came out. So
yes.
that was around the era when a lot more things started to become crossplay, but Night Rain's not crossplay either, I guess. But
Well,
it definitely
I
sucks. I take it for granted sometimes.
yeah, me too. Especially when it's one of my all-time favorite games. I literally love Battlefront 2 so much. I've been playing it nonstop for 8 years. So it is such a bummer that we're not able to do that. But hopefully with this Elden Ring thing, we'll be able to do that. We could play that together, record some stuff together while we play, and I feel like that would be something that would I feel like we would love alone, just because we would do it even for not content. But I feel like people would like to see us play and get mad at each other and almost ruin our friendship over a simple video game. I feel like that'd be awesome.
I think it would be pretty awesome. I think that it's time that we have a giant podcast controversy. We blow up because of the controversy, and then we can buy you a PC. So, everyone, if you'd like to cancel us, this is the time to do it.
I mean, I could say a few things right now and leave it in.
I'm cutting this. Just cut the whole.
Probably will,
let's
to
just
be
cut
honest.
let's just cut the whole podcast. Let's start over.
Just have your hello, and then it's all right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining.
But I think we're coming up on time. I think we wanted to keep this one short, so hopefully we'll have some Elden Ring news. Me and him can try to get playing together. But do you have anything else to take us out on?
Oh, nothing too much. I'll be able to talk more about the book I'm hopefully gonna finish, and some more Star Wars Battlefront, because I've been digging into that one for the first time. Because I played the first one, didn't play the second one, so I'll have a lot more to say next week about that, and maybe some more about Night Reign.
Actually, it's cool that you brought that up, and we'll end on this so we don't make any of our fans hate us. I'm actually in the point in the movies where this storyline takes place, so I actually plan on running through the storyline of Battlefront 2. It's been quite a few years, probably 4 or 5 years since I played it, so I'm pretty excited to run through that again, because I remember really loving it, and dude, the graphics are still just so freaking good.
It runs like a dream.
So I'm pretty excited about
runs
that.
like a dream on my PC with real high settings too. I can run it on like high graphics, which is really cool.
It's so beautiful. I love it. Such a good game, dude. We'll have to try to figure out some sort of way to, I don't know if it's split screen or what. We'll have to try to figure out some sort of way to play together, because I feel like that would just be so fun.
Well, I could live stream it on Discord.
Well, I guess maybe I could get it for your Xbox. I'm sure I could just get you a cheap copy for your Xbox, and then we could do like that.
True, it is on Xbox One probably. It's from 2017. So yeah, I actually just looked to buy a copy for it when I was at the there's a resale game store at the mall in Jackson that I go to, but they did not have a copy of it.
Okay, well, I have to go by one of those stores tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to stop by and see if I can grab one, because I know the last time I seen one, it was like $5.
Yeah.
I'm sure the price is going to go up now that it's more popular than what it was when it came out, but even if it's $10, I mean, what's that for us to be able to record content together or just play, you know what I mean?
True. That would be awesome.
But all right, guys, well, feel free to follow us on all of the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Blue Sky. Really appreciate you guys being with us this week. This one's going to be a later in the week episode. I'll try to get it up tonight, but thank you, Hunter, for hanging out with me last weekend and recording with me today.
Hell yeah, it's always a pleasure, bro. And make sure that you share it with everyone you know so we can get Juan a PC so we can join the PC Master Race.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. All right, everybody. See you next week.
Peace out.